We all tend to assume that our personal reality is, well, the reality. The faces we recognize, the songs that give us goosebumps, the pictures we can conjure up in our heads. We just figure everyone experiences those things the same way. But what if that's not true? What if some of the most basic, fundamental human experiences are completely different for millions of people walking around right now? Okay, let's try a quick thought experiment. I want you to picture the face of a really good friend. Got it? Now, imagine trying to hold on to that image, but all the details just blur. It's like you have a low-resolution, fuzzy memory of them. Or how about this? You put on that one song, the one that always gives you chills, but instead of that amazing feeling, all you hear is noise. Just a random jumble of sounds that does absolutely nothing for you emotionally. And for the last one, try to picture a simple red apple. Close your eyes and see it. Now, what if you couldn't? What if, when you tried to see something in your mind's eye, all you got was blackness? Just nothing. Here's the thing. For millions of people, these aren't just weird hypotheticals. This is their everyday reality. It's just how their brains are wired. So let's dive in and start with something most of us do all the time without even thinking about it: recognizing faces. So that first thought experiment, the one about not quite being able to picture a friend's face, well, it's a real condition, and it's our first hidden reality. It's called prosopagnosia, or more commonly, face blindness. And this has nothing to do with your eyesight. Your eyes are working perfectly. It's all about how the brain processes that information. It's almost like trying to identify someone from a super pixelated photo. It's a face, but those unique, defining details just never quite sharpen into focus. And get this, it is way more common than you might think. Just look at these numbers. About 1 in 50 people in the general population are born with it. 1 in 50. But then look at the autistic community. That number just skyrockets to over 30%. So this isn't some super rare disorder. It's a really significant variation in how humans perceive the world. And you can imagine this is more than just a little inconvenience. The social side of this can be huge, leading to all sorts of anxiety and really awkward interactions. To get by, people with prosopagnosia become these amazing detectives, learning to recognize people by the sound of their voice, the way they walk, or even their signature hairstyle. Okay, so from the faces we see, let's switch gears to the sounds we hear. For so many of us, music is this deep emotional wellspring. But just like recognizing faces, that whole experience isn't universal. Now, there's a really important distinction to make here. On one hand, there's a condition called amusia, where music literally sounds like disorganized noise. But what's much more common is something called musical anhedonia. People with this totally get the music. They can tap their foot to the beat, they know if a note is high or low, but they feel absolutely zero pleasure from it. It's like the wire that connects the brain's sound processing center to its reward center is just disconnected. And would you look at that number? Over 5% of people have this low music reward sensitivity. That's more than 1 out of every 20 people who just don't get that emotional rush from music that so many of us practically build our lives around. But this leads to a really fascinating puzzle that researchers stumbled upon. A lot of people with musical anhedonia, who say they get no pleasure from listening to music, still feel this undeniable urge to dance or groove when a beat comes on. So, how is that possible? Well, the answer seems to lie in this amazing theory called the groove instinct. It suggests that our urge to move to a beat uses a totally separate pathway in the brain. It's one that connects sound directly to our motor control, completely bypassing that emotional reward center. So the pleasure isn't coming from hearing the music, it's coming from the physical act of moving to it. How cool is that? All right, for our final hidden reality, we're going to move from the external world of faces and sounds and go to the purely internal world of our own imagination. This is aphantasia, the inability to voluntarily create pictures in your head. Now, it is so important to understand this is not a lack of imagination. People with aphantasia can be wildly creative. They just think without pictures. Their imagination might be more conceptual, focusing on abstract facts and how things relate, or it might be spatial, like knowing exactly how the parts of an engine fit together without ever actually seeing it in their mind. The best way to think about this is as a spectrum. On one extreme end, you've got hyperphantasia, where people can create mental images that are so vivid and detailed it's like watching a 4K movie in their head. And on the complete other end, you have aphantasia. Most of the rest of us fall somewhere in between. So where do you think you fall? Come on, try it with me right now. Close your eyes and picture an apple. Are you a step 1, seeing a photorealistic apple with light glinting off the skin? Or are you closer to step 5, where you're not seeing anything at all, but you just know you're thinking about an apple and all its properties? There's no right or wrong answer here, it's just a different way your brain works. And honestly, these 3 are just scratching the surface. Can you imagine a mind that doesn't have an inner monologue? That little voice inside? That's anidophagia. Or what about not being able to really identify or put a name to your own emotions? That's alexithymia. These hidden variations in how we think and feel are literally everywhere once you start to look for them. So what this all really means is that every single person you meet is living in their own slightly different perceptual world. And just recognizing that your way of seeing and hearing and imagining isn't the only way, well, that's a huge step toward real, genuine empathy. Which kind of leaves us with one big question. How many more of these invisible worlds are just hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to understand?